Fury versus Wilder for July postponed. Tyson Fury tests positive, may return back to England. I said Tyson Fury tests positive, may fly back to England. We're going to talk about that. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Do me a solid. Throw a like on the video if you enjoy the content. Smash the like button. Also, subscribe. Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier, Part 3. The fight is coming up tomorrow. If you want to order that fight, use my link below. It does help the channel in a phenomenal way when you guys click on that link. ESPN Plus. Order the Conor McGregor Poirier 3 pay-per-view using my link. There's a link tree in the ESPN. Let's get it. Now, ESPN reports Fury likely to return to England following a fight postponement. Tyson Fury likely to return to England and ultimately come back to the US for camp when the time is right. Sources said multiple people in Tyson Fury's camp have tested positive for the Rona 19. Now, immediately, the question most of you guys are probably thinking is, how is he going to return to England if he just tested positive for the Rona? I need somebody in the comments section, you know, all you Faucis out there that know and have been researching this infectious virus and respiratory influenza. Let me know how Tyson Fury is supposed to return to England since he's tested positive. I need to see how that works. How can you travel? You know, Tyson Fury is on record saying that he wasn't going to be able to have a lot of fans in attendance, British fans, because of the Rona. And then coincidentally, after it looks like his face had been beat up, I made a video about that in sparring. Now all of a sudden he's talking about, look, he has black eyes in his interviews and stuff. Now they're saying he's going to return to England because the trilogy is now postponed. He looked like he was in horrible shape. The fight was, 2 weeks away, give or take. And this is what Fury's team has now declared. This looks highly suspect. I also did a video about Joseph Parker. Joseph Parker is one of the people that they said tested positive as well. And Joseph Parker was lifting weights, seen lifting weights the same day with no mask. So Joseph Parker, he tested positive for the Rona, but he's lifting weights. So him and Fury, you see, he was around the people that there's like 4 people in this picture that they said all tested positive. And then he's out here swimming with his family. He's lifting weights. I mean, I made a video about this so you guys can check it. That doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't look, he has no mask on. It doesn't really suit the story. Look, there's people there and he has Rona, but he's in a public gym. Okay. Now they're saying Tyson Fury is going back home to England with the fight now being postponed. Somebody needs to jump in the mix and intervene because Tyson Fury likes to play these games. This is not the first time that he's done it. Daniel Weinstein, the judge, arbitrator, ruled in favor of Wilder that Tyson Fury was to have to fight Wilder, give him the 3rd fight. They agreed on a 2-fight deal. Because of the global pandemic, Fury did not honor it. And now it looks like there's some more drama with Tyson Fury, as they're saying up to 10 people in his camp. Like there needs to be some type of fine. The WBC, who Tyson Fury has a belt, I feel like at some point this has to be stopped. Like, how could you be so negligent to the point where how would you have a multi-million-dollar fight such as Wilder versus Fury and 10 people in your camp get the Rona? Like, who do you even have around? Like, just hear me out. Listen what I'm saying. How that means you're willy-nilly in the middle of a pandemic, if it's even true, and you're letting unnecessary people probably around. You know what I mean? Unnecessary people around. When have you heard in boxing since the Rona started, name any situation where we've seen fighters like Stephen Coolboy Fulton had the Rona, and other fighters. The Nonito Donaire Aubali fight got canceled because of the Rona. So we've seen it happen. They said Alexander Povetkin couldn't fight. They said Luke Campbell. But when have you seen a situation where somebody tested positive and 10 members of their camp also tested positive? What on earth could you be doing? You know what I mean? Who is in your camp? If you have a fight, like, all I know is during these uncertain times with the pandemic, if I had a fight that was gonna nab me 30, 40, 50, 60 plus million, whatever amount, then I would be very mindful and very cautious as to who's around and who, like, the military has a need to know basis. I would have that same thing. So like what the need to know basis is in the militaries is if there's a piece of intel or data and you don't need to know about it, then you won't know about it. They won't include you in the meeting or whatnot. So I would have that same philosophy if I had a multi-million-dollar fight and he says Wilder accused him of cheating and he wants to hurt Wilder. He said Wilder was fidgety, Wilder was scared, and you have allowed, allegedly, because there's a lot of questions that don't make sense to me, but you have allowed people in your camp to infect the whole camp? Really? I don't know. Something about this story seems very sketch, especially when you said Wilder was afraid. You said Wilder was damaged. You said Wilder was not going to be the same fighter after the first fight and the second fight. Tyson Fury told TMZ, look, Tyson Fury says Deontay Wilder was, quote, nervous and intense during the 6-minute face-off. So he says that Wilder was scared and nervous and he couldn't wait to be rescued, right? He said, good face-off. I felt Wilder was nervous and intense. He needed rescuing and he did get rescued. His coach come in and pulled him away just at the right time. How could you believe anything that comes out of this man Fury's mouth? He says Wilder was nervous, but you see all the reports. He's the one that's pulling out of the fight, and you guys could believe whatever you want. The whole Rona story, I'm not saying it's not plausible because obviously we live in pandemic times, but I would want more details on that because, like I said, how is Fury going to travel to England if he has the Rona? Let me know how that happens. So you guys see right here, the UK has 5 million plus cases, right? You see other places like Canada, it says there will be no travel to Canada by unvaccinated tourists for quite a while. We found out that Tyson Fury, they say, and you guys got to take anything coming from Fury's camp with a grain of salt, but they said Tyson Fury did 1 dose of the vaccination but didn't do the second, which means he's unvaccinated, right? And I'm not the smartest brother in the world, but if you currently have the Rona, then they can't give you a flu shot or a vaccination while you currently have it, right? So as it sits, as the record shows, Tyson Fury is unvaxxed, right? The report I just showed you says that Fury is going to return to England. What a coincidence. So he's going to return to England. BBC News, Rona. International travel changes for fully vaccinated people to be set out, which he's not. So how is he going to travel? Currently, those arriving in the UK have to follow strict rules regardless of their vaccine status. And anyone returning from countries on the amber or red list must isolate for 10 days. Travel bosses have called for the rules to be eased as soon as possible. The UK's traffic light system for international travel is still in force. Traffic light system. Fewer than 30 destinations are on the green list, meaning travelers do not have to self-isolate. So you have to be on the green list, which the US is not. But most places, including several holiday hotspots like mainland Spain, Greece, and the United States, right, are on the amber list. People returning from these countries must quarantine for 10 days and pay for test. So once again, how is Tyson Fury traveling while he currently has it, which is what they're saying is the reason his fight with Wilder is now postponed / canceled for the month of July. Man, Deontay Wilder needs to phone up Judge Weinstein to make sure. Look, right when Wilder was showing, I made videos about all this. Wilder making his sparring partners bleed and Fury's face was looking battered. It was looking real bad for Fury. Coincidentally, now the fight gets postponed as Fury's not ready. Horrible look for Tyson Fury. Once Wilder fights him, in my opinion, beats him, I no longer have any real reason to follow Tyson Fury's career. It's a sham. Tyson Fury's always playing games, too many gimmicks for my liking, and there's just terrific fighters throughout the sport of boxing that I'd rather spend my time on. So good luck. I can't wait for this fight to actually wrap up and happen so we can all move on with our lives. But I don't believe anything that comes from Tyson Fury and his camp. You guys can believe it if you want to. Bob Arum says that Tyson Fury's whole squad was vaccinated, and now all of a sudden we find out that's not the case, or they're testing positive. Even though you could test positive with the vaccination, the reports are saying he didn't even follow through with it. So negligent Fury, or he's lying, whatever you believe, let me know in the comment section. But I have no more interest in this man after the Wilder fight. Peace.